Hi everyone, my name is Keith McMahon. I'm from a company called VenueView. I did promise Lorraine she wouldn't have to do my surname because McMahon can be one of those names that people trip over. So I'm here today to talk to you about immersive tech and how it's being used to drive new customers. Every single industry has been influenced by the changes in technology, and we're going to look at how you can use some of those changes to drive more business and more customers to your business. Okay, so just a little bit about me. So I run a company called VenueView. We create 3D virtual tours, mainly for the hospitality sector and the events industry. I've been doing it for the last 3 years, and one thing that's really stood out over those 3 years, and that is the fact that everybody will refer to what we do as a 360 video. Whether people want a video or a virtual tour or a 3D tour or 360 video, everything is referred to as 360 video. So what I want to do for you today is just to give you a bit of an overview about how the different types of tech are being used and some of the options available to you if these sorts of things are interested to you. But first of all, so it's a quick overview. We're going to go through what is immersive tech, the effectiveness of immersion. I'm going to give you a demonstration of how effective it is. The journey so far, we're going to look at each of the different aspects you could be using, and then we're going to give you some opportunities to ask some questions that you may have. Okay. So immersive tech, it just gives users more experience with the opportunity to interact with you as a brand. There's more opportunities to engage, and most importantly, there's more opportunities for people to actually get in touch with you and start that customer journey. So we're going to give you a very quick demonstration about the effectiveness of immersion. So who's wearing headphones? We got 1, 2, 3. So just take your headphones off for one moment. So we're just going to play a video. You may recognize this video. It may have been one that you've seen before.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Anybody got an idea which film it is? We're going back a bit. We're not going to go any further than that because that scene scared the life out of me when I was young, and I didn't go swimming in the North Sea until I was about 16. So if you've got a set of headphones in front of you, just put the headphones on for me. And the reason that I want you to put your headphones on is because when you immerse yourself with media, when you engage, and when you actually be there, you remember it so much more.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
So by putting on the headphones, you probably heard a lot more. You heard the water splashing. You heard the raggedness of her breathing. You heard the now famous music starting to build up and create the tension. You may have even felt your own heart rate start to increase a little, or your own breath starting to get a bit ragged. But what it did, by being there, by being immersed in that experience, you will certainly remember it more than you did the previous one. And that's what immersive tech is all about. Putting people in an environment where they are immersed in what you do will make them remember more. So just a quick overview of the journey so far and how have we got to where we are now. So all the way back in 2007, Google released Street View, which was one of the very first platforms where you could see the 360 photography. Most people spent their time looking for their house or their nan's house, but very quickly businesses cottoned on that this was a way of being able to actually put people inside their business and see it for the very first time in a way that they could explore as if they're in person. And that was how Google Street View and the See Inside program was born. People were able to walk through as if they were there, looking up, down, left and right. Now that accelerated very quickly, maybe 5 years ago when 3D tours were launched. Now 3D tours give you much more than just a walkthrough experience. You can embed media inside the tours. You can put clickable booking links in there. You can see the shape of a venue and all of the rooms attached to it as a 3D model. And of course, customers can interact with that and they can walk through and explore. So particularly for venues or events that are a little bit further away, it's an invaluable tool in allowing people to see exactly what they can expect. Now, some of you may have already seen a 3D tour before because on the Event Tech Live website, there is a 3D tour of this show from last year. And the sales team have been using that since last year to be able to show people where their stands are or to encourage them to sign up or even attend. So it's a really useful tool. Now, 360 video was really launched, I guess, in about 2015 when YouTube started to allow people to upload their 360 videos. So we're going to talk a little bit about what each of those are over the next couple of minutes. Okay, anybody old enough to remember one of these? No? Yeah? So over the next 20 seconds, we're just going to go through a very, very quick gallery, see when you spot your first mobile phone. Does anybody remember any of these yet? No, some of you are far too young for this presentation if you don't recognize any of these. So an early BlackBerry, you got the Motorola Razr, you got the iPhone, Samsung, LG, Sony, and then onto the latest iPhone. So over the last 20 years, the acceleration of mobile phone technology has meant that every single person has got a supercomputer in their pocket. You know, the phone that you have in your pocket has more computing power than, you know, the computers that sent men to the moon. So you've got this supercomputer in your pocket. And that is combined with a really big acceleration in data speeds over the last couple of years. So data speeds have rapidly increased. You know, we've got 5G just around the corner, and that is going to open up the door to lots of possibilities. Does anybody remember this noise? Do you remember that noise? The old router and the old modem, when you used to plug it in, you'd sit and listen to it. So if you think about it, over the last 20 years, I think that's finished now. Over the last 20 years, we've gone from that to where we are today. We're on the cusp of 5G and super quick speeds. And when you combine a rapid acceleration in mobile device capability and a rapid increase in data speeds, we're getting to a point where people can have truly immersive experiences almost live. So we've got this demand for content. You know, we've got a huge demand for content. The amount of hours people spend watching YouTube every single day is ridiculous. 500 million hours people spend every day watching YouTube. People will watch so much content, but how are you standing out? You know, what is the way that you are standing out across all of the other companies that are looking to try and reach the same customers that you're trying to reach? So some of the ways that you can do this. 360 photography is one of the first, I guess, real immersive ways that you can engage with content. So a 360 photograph is very, very simply a series of photographs that have been stitched together. You know, you can hold up your phone, you can turn around, you can stick it in a VR headset. That is a 360 photograph. And the reason for explaining all of this is because quite often some of these terminologies get meshed as so much new tech comes out. So 360 photography is a very quick way of you being able to show customers what to expect. You can do it yourself. There are prosumer cameras out there where you can hold up the phone and take a 360 image and drop it into social media, drop it into Facebook. People can see about the event that you're running right now. They can see it live on Facebook. So it's a great way of showing instantly what a venue or an event looks like. And it can be very, very high quality. You can have super high definition, HD images where you can turn around and zoom in on everything. So you'll see lots of luxury hotels using the really high definition imagery. One of the drawbacks of 360 photography is you can't really move beyond the point that you're in. You can just turn around, but you can't walk through and explore. So the tours, what a 360 tour is a series of 360 images that are meshed together to create a matrix that sits over a business. So this allows you to walk from one point to the next. Now Google will report that when a business profile has a Google tour, they get twice as many visitors to their website as if they've just got traditional images. So that's a huge factor. And it really is evidence that if you're going to do anything, look at your Google business profile, put some good, compelling images on there, and just try and stick a couple of extra 360s on there as well, because people will start to build trust in your brand, and they'll start to understand what you're all about. I think some of the Facebook stats are really interesting as well, in that people are 4 times more likely to share a 360 photograph as they are a traditional 2D photograph. So if you're looking at your social media, if you're looking at how to reach people, if you want people to share your content, try and post stuff that they can engage with and share it with some of their friends. So here is what a 360 tour looks like. So if you can just press the button again. So this is Brewdog in Tower Hill. Brewdog have been using 360 tours and they've been using 3D tours. This is the 360 version. This was taken from Google Street View yesterday. As you can see, it's part of their Google profile. You've got the map in the corner. So this allows people to see very quickly what they're all about. So that's a very, very simple tour. That's just a very quick experience of looking inside a bar that opened, and people can actually be there as if they're in person. So the next level up from that is the 3D tour, as I alluded to. So the 3D tours have really, really taken off over the last 2 or 3 years. One of the biggest areas of value that customers get from having a 3D tour is the ability to drive direct bookings. Now, whether you work in the hospitality industry or whether you run events, you will know this. If you don't work in any of those industries, you'd probably be really interested to find out that the larger platforms, if you're looking at Booking.com, if you're looking at TripAdvisor, will charge the venue around about 20% of the room rate for the benefit of going through their site. So what that means is that you're giving 20% to those bigger platforms every time you book something via that platform, which is why hotels are now really trying to bring it back to drive more direct bookings. I'm sure you've seen on all their websites, book direct, book direct. That's because they're not paying that really big, hefty commission to the OTA. They're managing to keep it for themselves. So with 3D tours, one of the biggest benefits is the ability to insert direct booking links inside an immersive experience. By walking through, by seeing a room in multiple different layouts, by clicking on buttons to see videos, brochures, day delegate rates, menus, it really, that experience really helps to build trust and hopefully generates that booking. So let's have a little look and see what a 3D tour looks like. So this is Malmaison in Manchester. So what you'll see now, so this is a very quick 360, and quickly it will zoom out and it will show a 3D model of this building. So this is a thing that most people haven't seen before. People have seen 360s, have seen 3D tours, but they've not always seen this 3D model which is created by the infrared sensors that sit on the camera. Now this spins around, people can see where all the rooms are in relation to others, they can see different floors, and these hotspots are the ones that can contain your direct booking links. So a 3D tour is very, very different because it's not just a pretty showcase. It's a way of driving new leads, new bookings, and new engagement from customers on your social channels. Okay, virtual reality is next. Lots of companies are using virtual reality. I'm going to show you an example in a little while. So for those of you that haven't seen VR, you know, it's accessed via a headset, a side-on view. You've got two screens in front of you. Put it over your head. It is a great experience, but some people can find it a little bit disorienting. I don't think many of us use it for the roller coaster simulator anymore because far too many people fell off their chairs. But VR is a good way of getting it out there. It's really geared towards, I guess, a younger demographic, I think. Lots of, you know, maybe 18 to 30-year-olds would have a VR headset because lots of the mobile phone bundles included one. It's a good way of people being able to see you, but the fact that you've got to put a headset on can be a little bit cumbersome at times. So here is how Nissan have used it. So this is a kind of futuristic Star Wars type experience, but this was used by Nissan in a VR form to really engage people on social channels. So people could access this with their VR headset, and I think it was extremely popular, and of course it's there to promote the car. The next one on is even more interesting in that Topshop used this very well, in that you had London Fashion Week, and of course it's very difficult to get tickets to any of those shows. So what they did is they set up all of their headsets in one of their London branches, and people could stream being there live. So this is live VR. This is people actually sitting there watching people walk up and down the catwalk with a VR headset on. So you can imagine that this was very, very popular with people that wanted to see the show but maybe couldn't make it. And that brings us on to something that is very new, and it is really the convergence of some of the technologies and the acceleration in data speeds and mobile performance. So 360 video has been around for a couple of years. If you think about the way that YouTube will allow you to put a video on, it's a front-facing video. You can pause it, you can play it, and that's about it. A 360 video is typically done using two 180 lens cameras back to back, and you've got, in essence, a video sphere. So you can look around, you can look up and down, but you can't move forwards or backwards. You're still at the mercy of where the video producer is putting that camera. But that's 360 video. Now, one of the most exciting things about 360 video is the ability to be somewhere almost live. And that's going to be one of the next things that is really going to break through, I think. Live streaming VR, or just live streaming 360 video that allows people to be sat in the chair that you're sitting at now, looking at this talk, and you could be doing it for 5 different stages, and you could be looking left, right, up and down for each of them. So 360 streaming has so many applications, whether it be education, whether it be training, it could be medical, it could be meetings and exhibitions. The ability to be there, put a headset on, and see something as it happens has the potential to be huge. So we're going to be holding a webinar. Please ignore the address on the bottom there. If you are interested in the webinar to talk about the 360 streaming and ask any questions, please feel free to drop me an email, because this one, the tech is actually being used already. If you do want to drop me an email, it's Keith, Keith, at venueview.co.uk. Feel free to grab me after the talk if you've not had time to write that down, or if you spell my name wrong. I'll give you a card. Drop me an email. We'll invite you to the webinar. It'll give you the opportunity to ask some questions about Live 360 and how that could be used in your industry. Okay, so this is very quickly. This is a video that I recorded yesterday. This is how Red Bull used 360 video. So this is the garage at Red Bull. You know, so I was controlling this. I was turning the camera left and right, and this is how 360 video works. You're here, or in the next case, you're on the car. You can turn around. So I was turning around. I was looking at the back of the car. So a great immersive way of being there in an environment that you may not normally get access to. Okay, the last thing is AR. So Google Glass came out a couple of years ago and was well ahead of its time. If you think about AR, AR is an overlay onto an image or a scene that you may see through a lens. So if you think about holding up your iPad, you could be holding your iPad up to me on stage, and I could have Richard Branson standing next to me as an AR overlay. So that's how AR works. It would overlay graphics onto a scene or an image to add additional context to what you see. It could be huge. If you think about wearing a pair of glasses, walking past a poster, and that poster comes to life because of the overlay that it puts over that piece of marketing. So AR has the potential to be huge, and for me, it's probably one of the biggest opportunities. Okay, so this is how Visa were using it. So this was I think it was in London, and all of these guys, you know, we can see that there's no giraffes there, but by looking at the screens, they can see all of these things that you see on there. They can see the penguins walking around, they can see the polar bears. You know, they can see all of that on the screen, and they can then interact with that content that's next to them. So AR has the potential to be absolutely huge, and if you can get on board early, it's well worth it. Okay, so in summary, immersive tech is absolutely set to keep on growing. The stuff that I've shown you today is just a very small sample of what is out there. It is rapidly accelerated over the last 10 years, and it is going to accelerate more. 3D tours are huge at the moment, and lots of venues are really making the most of them. AR is probably one to watch for the future, and if you can start to look into that tech, it's a really engaging way of attracting new customers. So thanks for your time today. It's been really great being up here. I think now we're going to have the opportunity to ask any questions.
Okay, think you kind of touched on this, but first question, what do you think will be the next big thing with immersive event technology?
I think there's two things really. I think AR has the potential to be huge. It can be used at events such as this, but particularly with events, I think live streaming 360 is probably the one that can be used to greatest effect. You know, whether you're charging people to view it who can't be there, or whether you're giving people, you know, access overseas, I think live streaming 360 is really the one to watch, I think, for event tech.
Okay, fantastic. Next. What is the most popular immersive tech at the moment?
I think popularity, I think it depends on the customer segment. I think VR is huge, but with probably with an 18 to 30-year-old sort of demographic, I think. I think with regards to what we're seeing more engagement with, 360 is huge on social media, and some of the views around 3D tours are, you know, staggering. You know, our website gets 30,000 visits a month, and nearly all of that is on the 3D tours.